Yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo, yo. So I just had a Twitter space that went really well with Hydro Wells, Ace Miners. I don't know that we'll have much interaction today since I just talked for an hour already. But regardless, we move on. Also, this is Thursday, not Friday, in case anybody was confused by the day. It is Thursday, not Friday, and we are doing it early because we have some stuff for holidays over the next couple of days, and I didn't want to buy my time up too much. So if you are in here, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Hope you have an amazing Christmas because of it. Even if you're not in here, you can still have an amazing Christmas. But yeah, so obviously I've been under a rock lately, working on Glacier. So I'll share some of those details with you. I'll also my son has RSV and flu type B. So my little 1-year-old is pretty sick right now. So I've been dealing with him as well. He is pretty sick, but he's handling it like a champ. I'm pretty happy about it. And I think he's getting better. I think he's over the hump of any kind of dangerous levels of RSV, because I know there's a lot of people, a lot of kids that were getting RSV. So enough about me. Yeah, so Walrus, let's talk about Walrus. I mean, we're at 91% of Walrus touching that contract. That is insanity if you think about it. I mean, regardless of how much is still out there, regardless of how much is burned, regardless of the price depreciation or appreciation, 91% shows an involved, active community, in my opinion. That means that, there's people that are cycling Walrus through this ecosystem and doing what they think is benefiting the protocol, and that's crazy to see. Now, there's still a ton of things that we need to change tokenomics-wise, and, Walrus needs a makeover in the way that we develop it and any kind of future prospects we have for it, and making sure that it's independent and free thinking and allowing it to yield and to do what it's supposed to, and these tokens to have utility outside of me or any other third party. So it's a long process, and Tomb Force took a big hit, but it is one of those things that it just takes time, and that's what we're doing. We're taking the time, and we put something out that I think is kind of the period at the end of the sentence, which is X Walrus. Somebody said dirt under my nose. No, that's just my shit coming back in, man. That's just my little stash coming back in. Dylan, you're muted.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. I saw you laughing and you weren't talking. That was a really good one, wife.
It was a hearty chuckle.
Yeah, that was a good one, by the way. But yeah, so I think that it's doing what it's supposed to, and like me trying to throw a bunch of shit together that and change the narrative of it. Like, it doesn't need a narrative change. It is working. Mathematically, it is working exactly as intended. So we're gonna have to see how it plays out with Glacier and Glacier emissions, and so I can share some of that with you all. I can share with you where I'm at with the white paper for Glacier, kind of some of the prospects that I've been looking at for as far as hiring for the team, some exciting stuff about the early investor NFTs, and just the general overall bullshit that we normally talk about. It's Tusk talk, baby. So yeah, Glacier has taken hold of me and not let go. Every time I think that I've got the full scope of it, it's like small things get added onto the plate. And I know I talk about this a lot, but it's just like, it's a lot, man. And we have a small team in comparison to how big the project is. And I think we're doing it really well. And we're getting more involved as the days go. The big pieces are put in place. And it's just the small things that we have to fill in. It's all the gaps that we're filling in right now. So, Mark was working with me and Owen on a new emission schedule, and it hasn't been seen in a deck so far. And so I'm going to explain it to you all a little bit. It's not extremely complicated or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you which way we're going with it. So Glacier will emit, and what we're going to have, and I think I've talked about this briefly, is that we'll mint out the LP rewards that are supposed to go, which is 109,500,000 Glacier. And we will drip it out at 0.1% daily. And so what this does, and with the swap fees, so a certain percentage of the swap fees, almost half, will actually go to buying back Glacier and refilling that contract. And so what we intend to happen here is that when there's high volume months, more Glacier will be emitted, thus the APRs will go up. All right. And so when we have low volume months, less glacier will be emitted over time, and there will be less price depreciation by, hopefully by effect. And so, this is a new method, and of course, 0.1% is what we're standardizing it at. But it could go up or it could go down. But it would go up or down with the Dow governance vote. So it's essential that you understand that. And it's a new method, and we're still modeling it out based on TVL. Like, do we have enough allocated resources to going into buying back Glacier and putting it back in this reward contract? But it does mean that there is going to be some buy pressure from the protocol at all times based on volume of swaps. So that's a certain percentage of the swap fee going to doing that. And then we'll also have a certain percentage that goes, and a much smaller percentage that goes to actually just burning Glacier. And so there will be 150 million static. The teams will vest linearly. And then, of course, with the 0.1% daily, of course, you'll see a taper off effect. And then the NFTs will have a similar effect. They will be parallel in emissions with the LP farm rewards. Glacier points, I'm still writing up the document on it. It should be done quite soon. We just had to narrow down this emission model and model it out till I'm happy with it. But we're pretty close on that. And I should be releasing the new docs, which I've shared around a couple times. Not with publicly, but it's enough that I'm starting to feel comfortable to start sharing some of this information. Me and Dylan have some educational content. I just got the team together and got a big to-do list that is extensive and ever growing. I've got a cool new landing page that we're developing for Glacier that's going to be really simple, but I think it looks killer. I could actually, you know what? I never hold back.
You can do it?
I'm just going to, well, I mean,
you gonna do it?
It's really not that fucking hype, but I'm going to show you all what I made.
I don't even know if I've seen this.
So this will just literally be, like you log into the Glacier Fi website. This is, of course, before there's actual Web3. Once Web3 is involved, this will be completely changed. This is purely before the launch. So this image will play, and then it'll just show that computer screen. And then it'll link to all of our socials, of course. So really cool. I'm very happy with it. I made it. I bought it, and then I edited it. But I think it looks really cool. And so, just keep in mind that we're looking at every avenue. I am looking for marketing agencies to help with Glacier before launch, a couple months before launch, and be able to kind of develop a brand recognition and brand loyalty. So if you guys don't know how much thought goes into this, like I'm very particular about my things and how everything moves. And so what's going to happen is that, I have certain values that I want and a certain ethos that I want for Glacier. And one of those narratives that we have to build is that there is a brand loyalty on Avalanche blockchain, that we have a loyalty to Avalanche, and we want to expand and make it better, right? But also, what is Glacier? What makes it unique? And what is the team's values? Like, and that logo needs to set in people's mind. If I use Avalanche, I want to go here. And so really that's what I'm driving with marketing. And it takes the right people to put it in place. And that's, I've talked with Ava Labs to try and get more higher educated people to start looking after these positions, and I've put it in the hands of them, and hopefully they can find me some people that can fill the CMO role to help me out. And it's just a lot, every avenue is getting built out. I'm working my ass off, and when I'm not, sometimes it's just out of my hands. I still feel like I need to be working. So, yeah. So hopefully everybody likes that little image. It'll be what pops up whenever you load the glacierfi.com page. And again, it'll just show our links to our social, and it'll just loop that video feed. Not the constant one, but just the actual computer screen. So I think it's really cool. I think it looks good. I think that it'll be easy on the eyes, and whenever we, are starting to advertise it.
You updated the year. It was 1988 when I saw it last. Now it's 2251.
Yeah. I added the logo, and it was this is the website that I got this off of was fucking.
Did
awesome.
you change the whole date?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I did, and it's I changed
Interesting.
the date. It looks
Nice.
cool. I think it looks really. I'm hyped with it. It looks
great. That looks a lot better than what I saw it earlier.
I'm gonna edit it some more and make sure that we have our socials linked on there and that you can click them. And Jumpman's gonna work with me on getting that up. And also, if you ever want to get a website, do not talk to GoDaddy. They still have not gotten back with me since I've been locked out of my account for verifying. I've given them all the proper information, and now it's been over almost 2 weeks. So it's crazy. Also, Dylan's gonna start working. Dylan's been making some moves in Twitter, trying to talk with the Avalanche team and making sure that there's visibility on us, right? We're just trying to get our name out there without making any bold statements or saying some crazy shit. We just really want to get our name out there and let people know, hey, listen, we're looking to take some market share on AVAX, and we want to show you that we're serious. So, yeah.
Which means follow me.
Yeah, go follow Top Gun. He's been working his ass off on Twitter, so it's important that we definitely make the effort. The Hydro Wells and Ace Miners space was pretty packed.
Got some traction. Yeah, got some traction.
We had like 60 people in there, so appreciate you all for joining in. I think it went really well. I just kind of went in raw and started asking questions. But yeah, what else do we have? What else have I been working on? Man, I feel like I always have to say what I've been working on because, like, if I don't, then I feel awful. I've also been chilling and playing my Steam Deck, and I've been playing Ocarina of Time Zelda. I've been replaying it on my Steam Deck. So I've been having some time with the family while the boy's sick. And that's why I don't speak about my personal life. Don Hack said, didn't ask. That man's hurting with his bags.
He's still here every day. I have a feeling if he sold everything, he'd still be here every day. I think he just likes us, Austin.
Oh, I'm sure, maybe.
No, I think he does. Flame too.
Yeah, no, there's no way that they would have this much level of commitment if they didn't like us a little bit. But yeah.
I got questions.
Yeah, let's ask them.
All right, Temporal Ice wants to know how's the testnet going for Glacier.
I have to meet up with Mark later this week to see the official Beats version on Glacier or Beats version on AVAX testnet. But I'll let you all know as soon as I see it live. I'm going to be too excited not to share it. And then we're going to start editing a lot of the stuff, right? There's so much stuff to edit in because we're adding things like Glacier points, which I've recently started wireframing out because it's completely new to Balancer. So it's going to take, me designing UX and UI and getting other people involved to help me with it. But yeah, it's coming along.
Mark. And Thrak. Thrak wants to know, can we get some Narwhal news or action ASAP? It would be a bullish sign for the ecosystem to get some positive actions as Glacier is still a while away. Maybe X Narwhal or increase LP earnings.
We could increase LP earnings. But realistically, what I'd like to do is gamify the boardroom like I talked about. It's just something that I haven't put for Jumpman above like some of the Glacier stuff that we want to launch because I know how essential Glacier is to our next pivotal steps in the Walrus ecosystem. So I've kind of prioritized it over Narwhal. The thing about Narwhal is it really is a low cap coin, like 90,000 in circulation, and there's no reason to sell it. There's no more getting minted. People are just selling out from a lack of confidence, but realistically, it's yielding all the same.
I think it's the node holders.
Maybe.
I really do.
Have a floating glacier that randomly spawns on the website and let people collect it for prizes. Yeah, I mean that's not bad.
Interesting. Isn't that kind of what we talked about this morning a little bit?
What, your idea? I don't think your idea.
Yeah. Well, you find the glacier, you get you do the tweet.
Yeah, Thrak, and that's still the goal for Narwhal is that I want to a dynamic boardroom for Narwhal. But realistically, I only have Jumpman, and Jumpman's been working pretty extensively on the front end, and we're also on holiday schedule. So I'm sorry, there's not a lot of updates. Everybody's kind of moving around for the holidays, and it's really hard to capture timelines for people. But as soon as hopefully the first comes, we're ready to come back and kick some ass.
And then last question I have is from Rad Dad. Great to get to listen in on the Twitter Spaces with Hydro Wells and Ace Miners. Are there any other projects you would like to connect with for synergy or partnership? What would be a dream partnership for you?
Avalanche. Avalanche is my dream partnership. Y'all don't understand how bad I want to get in contact with these people. I've met so many people that cannot speak in public with the same genuine passion that I do. And I just want the chance to let them know that there's people in Hillbillies that trust and believe in the Avalanche team and is building on it for them. And I would just like, maybe not the recognition, but at least the respect of knowing that, that there are other good builders that they're not talking to, and they should be. Yeah, I'll keep speaking Avalanche, so I'll talk to Luigi and all of them. As there is very few people that are as passionate about me about developing projects for Avalanche. Some people just choose the chain and just go with it. I chose Avalanche for a reason, and I also am very passionate about crypto. So, Avalanche, come talk to me. I've been committed to the scene for quite some time. That's true, Rad Dad. Maybe I need a name change. Maybe I need something more serious, like Serious Hillbilly. What about that? Maybe they'll take me serious if I have that in my name. Yeah. Also we have the NFT mint that I want to bring Owen up to talk a little bit about before we end today, where we can talk about the faction NFT mints and also like what they do with Glacier, but just how synergistic of a product that the foundation of what Owen is building over there, and why I think no matter what kind of NFTs you're into, that you should look to maybe mint some for Frozen Walrus, and kind of the benefits to you as a user, benefits to the protocol, and just show you kind of like what's being built and what's capable of this system that I call kind of like they're laying out the framework of the DEX, and then people are going to start launching their own it's not this, it's an NFT version of this, but it's also gamified and actually fucking playable, which is already leagues ahead of most people. And they built it
and fun
with a very minimal budget. It's absolutely insane, and it's awesome to see. Of course, I'm going to back Owen up in whatever he does, but I also think that it's really cool for Frozen Walrus to be one of the early faction NFTs, because I do see with the right amount of funding and the right amount of eyes during the next bull cycle that this game will be something very special for people, and to show people that there is real GameFi and there is real gaming on Web3, and that it's not only fun and engaging, but that users can benefit from it financially. So it's a super exciting thing to be a part of, and I hope that we gain some traction and people are able to buy some mints, because I think that there's going to be large faction wars with us versus Grape and us versus EMP, and it'll be cool to be represented through that and have some fun through community events and being able to cross-pollinate our communities, and I think it's going to be really cool. So Owen, I'll bring you up in just a little bit, and hopefully hold on, my daughter's here. I have to open up a can for him.
Which one? That sounds like Sophie.
No, it's Natalie. Y'all know I'm live. Okie dokie. Now it's open. Yeah, so I don't know where I was, but I am super bullish on Owen and the team, and I think that they are developing something very unique. And so I'm excited for him to talk about it for you all. There's a lot more to talk about on the back end with that, and I told him he's going to need to hire someone for educational content on just that, because it is a lot and it's very involved. But you as a user, if you're just in it for the games, it's super easy to pick up and play. I mean, you can literally go on there right now, and it's really cool. I love gaming, and I think it's super cool that they've actually developed a real product. Can't say that enough, because there's so much hogwash in this space of people saying they're developing this or that, and they've actually got a working multiplayer game on a blockchain. So what else we got? Walrus English Club, we should be getting our miners in very soon, so we could start building a dashboard to show what the phase 1 NFT minters are earning over the course of the compounding stage. And I think that's going to be really cool, and it's going to open some eyes that we are serious, that we actually deployed the capital for what we said we did, and hopefully gains us some extra people that came in that may have been naysayers or doubters, right? Do we have any questions?
I have not seen any.
Well, Owen, you want to come up and talk about if we do get any more? I'll talk about it after Owen comes up. But Owen, you want to come up and talk a little bit about the faction mint? Let's talk about the date. Let's talk about the time, how much they cost. There he is. Owen, I kind of
Well,
gave you your
hello
intro.
there.
I kind of gave you your intro already. Hopefully, I did justice.
It's very, very sweet of you. Thank you. And thank you all for coming out. It's good to see the Walrus community staying strong in pretty fucking bleak market. Yeah, I'd love to sort of give you guys just basic primer on what we're trying to build and how we think, you guys will ultimately fit in. So, at its core, what we're trying to build is a sort of immersive MMORPG a la RuneScape slash World of Warcraft. The sort of critical difference being that it's run on and that the in-game assets are all self-custodied so that you as a warrior, can actually franchise the results of your sort of prowess and your merit in-game. This ties in with a faction system that we're developing, basically where users will they can mint through different NFTD apps to sort of signify which faction they belong to. And that will, I mean, there are various things in game where the faction you belong to will be sort of incidental. Like you can play free for all matches where you're just running in, killing people, earning magic every time you kill somebody, and losing magic every time you die. Uh, but there will be, PvE events like raid bosses and PvP events like faction wars, where you might fight EMP or you might fight several faction at once, either in battlegrounds or capture the flag or different game modes that we're still working on developing. These things don't exist yet, but we're trying to get them up and scale them very quickly. But basically, the idea being these factions compete. They're going to be competing for the best warriors too, obviously, because they're going to want to win these battlegrounds. They're going to have sick loot prizes, both in Magic, M-Share, other flavored loot, and in-game items, because all of the items are NFTs, like weapons, armor, potions, consumables, spells. That's a big implementation in this next patch. But the idea is that, we're shipping the foundation of this thing, and we're looking to you guys. We want these factions themselves to basically have custody of their own spaces in this world. So if you can imagine Frozen Walrus having its own faction HQ, where it can host events, where it can have its own vendors, and those can be for in-game assets, like faction items. Like you guys will have a unique weapon and a protocol armory, which will have certain dispensations of consumables and weapons, etc. So Frozen Walrus can sort of directly to market sell them or distribute them to their community. And then, beyond that, if you guys want to create your own aesthetics or NFTs for the game, you can do that and host them in your own faction HQ. So we really want to open this up to be, if you can think about it as sort of like a Dex marketplace gaming world. And obviously, if that sounds competitive with Glacier, you'd be wrong, just because our plan ultimately is to use Glacier as our AVAX Dex rails. So there are a lot of really deep integrations we can do there, different staking pools for in-game consumables, things like that. That will be really cool. It takes a bit of a sort of, I don't know, leap in sort of conceptualization. But what you have to understand is sort of on a player level, it's a sort of MMORPG that's very PvP oriented, at least in the sort of early stages, because the economics of PvP are really easy to design for. Later, we'll be more focused on PvE once we're out of the sort of balancing depth expansion stage. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of the 10K overview on the ecosystem. The NFTs themselves are they're basically a starter pack to the game. So when you mint an NFT, you get airdrops of magic for to purchase lives in game, or items if you want to mint NFTs. You get some phantom, you get a rare weapon. You're going to get a rare faction weapon, so that's going to be the frozen fish. And that's I believe the effect is that weapon stuns on impact slightly, but I have to double check with my game devs. Right now, Crypto Gamer, we're on Phantom. We will bridge over to Avalanche, but we just don't want to, like, there's no point in deploying liquidity over on Avalanche before Glacier launches, because we're planning on, like, apart from just Magic World, we're planning to integrate Magic Farm pretty deeply with Glacier as well to develop like strategies that are optimal for the protocol itself. So strategies around, redirecting rewards to governance pools as opposed to selling into like 100% to LP, things like that.
And Owen, I
So
wanted to
we're
say
thinking of a
something
lot of
as well.
times.
Is that like just like on a synergy level? Imagine like Glacier's proposition to a new protocol being able to offer these weighted pools, but also imagine that we are also, because Owen is an advisor on the project and we work so hand in hand and we see so many synergies involved with Magic World, that we're also able to offer these protocols, some level of faction in Magic World as well, and allow them, especially if they're hosting on Avalanche, that they're able to also take these tokens that they have, and no matter what their vision is, but allow their users a different way to interact with their protocol. And I think that is really what the value add to Glacier, but also like how we expand together is that like we have our own value proposition for our decks and the way that we can offer things to protocols. But not only that, we have this little extra treat of Magic World being this expansive community oriented event that is fully gamified and allow these protocols to have an extra step in the door to getting involved with it. So it can really move fast, and I do think that this landscape, with Magic World will be vastly different in a good way in the future. And that's if I was a forward thinking man, the more protocols that get listed on this, the more features that get added into this. These guys have built this with zero budget. I don't think people understand that, is that they've built this game with zero budget, and now they are getting a budget, and that's why I'm so supportive of it, is that now they're getting a budget. They've already shown proof of work, right? They already shown that they can do this shit, and now that we're giving them the funding and allowing them the space to build, I really do see a lot of potential in it. But Owen, continue.
Yeah, so I see a couple questions, but just one thing I wanted to add to that, like a way I've sort of been thinking about it, or a way to conceptualize it, is that you have L1s that would be sort of the network you're building on Avalanche. You have the gas token, right? You have a DEX that would be like a layer 2 on top of the L1, because it's a D app that's built on top of the network. And then we're thinking of, our products, both Magic World and Magic Farm, as sort of layer 3s that are sort of riveted on top and meant to expand the functionality and utility of the protocols that they sort of layer on top of. Sorry, let me just scroll back to AMA chat. I seem to have lost myself here. Where the hell is this?
Bryce wanted to know if someone who isn't competitive, is there a draw for someone who doesn't want to do PvP?
Yes. Okay, so that was the first question right back here. For someone who's not competitive, is there a draw? Yeah. So there's going to be a staking NFT. Let me spool back for a second, because maybe I should explain the value prop a little more clearly. So for instance, you will mint your NFT on AVAX. EMP's mint will be on BSC. Obviously, the Magic faction NFT mint will be on Phantom. What you'll mint is, a piece of art. I believe the Walrus art PFP is circulating, and that acts as a receipt for subsequent airdrops you're going to get when the beta launch happens in early January. So basically, that contains the things I just grabbed. That's the Phantom, the Magic, the items, and the staking NFT. We may airdrop some of those things sooner. as we can. It's just a matter of like how quickly we can implement and finish testing some of these things, because we are in the final stages. We just want to make sure everything is wrapped up. But we're aiming for second week in January for a sort of beta soft launch and launch of the airdrop. So it basically initially it gets your receipt, which entitles you. So the benefit is the various things that you're getting in game, obviously, but also the staking pool, and those NFTs will be capped. And those basically are based off in-game sales and other sort of surplus value that's generated from the Magic ecosystem. That's Magic Farm and Magic World and Magic Swap. Can you
So
be
when
in
you
more than one faction?
one
Sorry,
sec,
what?
I want to ask something on that. Is that I just want to talk about the exclusivity of these being early faction mints, being Frozen Walrus, Grape, EMP. What's kind of the benefits of getting in early to Magic World via these starter pack NFTs? What do you see the longevity of these NFTs? What will we be able to do with them? Because I know that we've talked about it, but I just want to make sure it's clear for the audience.
So one thing we haven't wanted to do is to make a decision on what these things are too early, because we don't frankly know. We want to see what communities want from these NFTs and want from these communities themselves. So to an extent, like for instance, if we're thinking about something like supply caps on factions, there would be a benefit from a sort of scarcity perspective and a value proposition perspective of saying like, okay, a faction can only have 2,000. But let's say 2 years down the road, like Target wants to be a faction, that ends up being incredibly limiting, right?
Could you imagine a bunch of Target
So
moms
we want to
buying a
be,
faction NFT? Just going in there
I
looking for
mean,
sales.
wouldn't be sort of the long angle there is that factions themselves, obviously, if at scale, if we have millions of users of this game in this world, the vendor space is going to be really valuable. So they'll be essentially like brands would at that point be funding the in-game
And you
incentives,
do, and there
etc.
is a convenience fee that Magic takes, and that is distributed back into the ecosystem. Is that correct?
Exactly. So basically, there are small fees in the game, like things like the auction house, and on certain tournament and events. And then there are in-game sales of NFTs, etc., like that, as well as the NFT mint itself, which all gets sort of there's a part which goes to developers and development, and like primarily it goes into the loot pool and into liquidity and other sort of aspects of the protocol, because the staking pool is basically a claim on a percentage of the M share token staked in our revenue share contract for our V2. There's definitely going to be some questions on that, because even I am confused by the sentence I just made.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be but to keep it simple, is that really,
NFT staking, you earn magic.
yeah, exactly. And all of this is very self-propelled, self-funded, doesn't necessarily like the rewards scale based on the amount of usage of the ecosystem, and by that I mean like usage in game, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So the whole idea is that it's instead of, if you are a Blizzard or something or something like that, you are sort of, maybe if you have a public company, you are issuing revenue out in the form of some sort of nominal dividend, right? Um, Instead, we're trying to structure a completely decentralized, not only incentive system, but ecosystem. So we can sort of at some point let this ecosystem go and continue to develop beyond us. That's obviously contingent on probably years of development before we get to that point. But we're really trying to build something that entices other protocols, brands, users to be a part of it, because they see the value that they can get from it too.
And essentially, like a
So
DEX, you'll give them like the SDK, and if you don't know what that is, it's like the packaging to use their ABI code to list your token, right? So essentially, what you would do in a decentralized world in the future of a grand gesture is that they would have this access to that. All they had to do is build and develop a certain amount of assets, deploy it through that, and then they're ready to go, right? And this is me saying
yeah,
they
no,
as
it's
like
all really easy.
projects.
So the other thing that I think will really be cool and be nice to use is we'll have usernames that are linked to wallets. obviously all the assets are self-custodied. So if you're in game and you want to send an NFT to somebody or a weapon or list a weapon and see who's buying it, you can see it by their username, and you could use the mailbox to send it via username instead of having to go to their wallet address.
which is
So I
nice.
think like little quality of life things like that will just sort of bridge that annoying gap between like obviously there's a lot of clunkiness inherent to Web3, but and it's going to be a process of getting to a position where like we can actually onboard like gamers who are not native to this space, just because like it's not feasible to like teach every new user how to use MetaMask. um, but the tech needs to make some advances. We're talking to some people there, but we're pretty confident that that's going to get there pretty soon, and that onboarding is just going to get a lot easier. We think we're sort of launching proof of concept for this at the right time. We're really happy to be involved with you guys, and with Glacier, obviously, and EMP. I think we've developed a really strong sort of group of developers and communities and folks. So just really excited to see what we can do in the new year.
Yeah, and if people are interested, which I think they are, let's talk about the mint date, the mint price, where they're going to be able to mint, things like that. Owen, you with me? Uh-oh, he went silent. Owen?
Hey, LHB, I'm so sorry.
You're
My headphones got unplugged.
It's
I'm
all
such an
good. You
idiot.
left me in the dust, man. But again, let me just repeat the question: where can you mint? How much will it cost to mint? And when can you mint?
You will be able to mint in reverse order tomorrow at 12 noon EST. Let me see if I can get the link right now. 1 second.
For RD app?
I'm sorry, what was the second question?
Well, is it so we have a specialized D app for Walrus specific.
That's correct.
So obviously, Frozen Walrus, for the sales they get, a certain percentage goes back to the treasury via NFTs. So just know that, which is why we have separate D app links. So just keep that in mind. And also it puts you in the faction. So whenever he does link this, I'll make sure to announce it tomorrow before 12 p.m. Eastern. And that's all the information you need. It's going to be a fun mint. I know it's a bear cycle, but I do think that these bring great value, and I haven't seen any value props similar to this in the landscape that we're currently in. So I'm very interested to see. And even if you don't take to it, I promise you in the future people will take to this. I've been in this space long enough. I understand it to a decent degree. So regardless of how this mint goes, this will be taken to eventually. And Owen has done this with zero funding. So I promise you with funding, it's only going to get better, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion on
Owen,
Yes.
is there a mint limit or a deadline?
So there will be both a mint limit and a deadline, but we're not going to set those yet. Just because one, we don't want to limit our access to users. Some of this is about sort of getting flywheels into motion, and some of this is about user onboarding and securing loot rewards for in-game. So we don't want to sort of shoot ourselves in the foot by capping that early. But if we see a lot of demand, we'll probably choose to cap that, on the early side. If we get sort of a sense from people that they're looking for more clarity on that, we're happy to do it. But we're just thinking about this type of NFT a little bit differently, just because of the sort of novelty. Can you rent out the NFTs? Possibly. We were thinking about that. So like one of the long-term features I wanted was an in-game gig board, or mercenary board, where like, let's say there's a big tournament coming up. A faction's going to want to sort of bribe the most elite warriors, who list their abilities, and maybe they would have to rent NFTs to fight for that faction. So possibly, JC. I just don't know how all of the implementation around it should work yet.
Yeah, I think
There's
that
a
would be.
lot of sort of moving parts here.
I think that would be essential that there are people that just kind of are factionless, and that build up their account and then just allow it to be rented out. I think that's a cool feature that you see in some of the other, again, point and click games. But I think that you could see some value bringing it into Magic World. But it is a huge implementation, clearly.
And is there an advantage to owning more than one NFT? I'm trying to determine how much I want to spend.
Well, you'll get more of the stakeable NFTs, which will be capped. And also the unique faction weapons are definitely going to be capped. So the frozen fish, the detonator, all of those are definitely going to be capped. So if you think that the game will take off and those assets will be valuable, you'll be able to list those on the auction house later for, in game. We're also playing around with the idea of a la idle games. I don't know if you guys have played those idle games, but like being able to alternatively stake NFTs for in-game consumables or ERC20 consumables. But again, that's an implementation we're still working out because it involves sort of introducing other tokenomics to ecosystem, which has a lot of tokenomics being implemented on it. So,
Oh, that was one thing I wanted to cover is that the mint price is 50 USDC for on AVAX.
USDC.E.
Yeah, on AVAX it is specifically USDC.E for us on our D app. I don't know. Is that what Grapes is as well? I couldn't remember if theirs was MIM or not.
I believe, let me check. Theirs is USDC. Not sure why Jimmy did that. But yeah, theirs is USDC. This is USDC.E.
The
It
goddamn
is
Brits strike
not Friday.
again.
It is almost Friday.
It is close to Friday. So yeah, I think that gives you a pretty good overview of the ecosystem they're trying to build. I'm just trying to make sure that people understand that, like, because we're in a bear market, if mints aren't like flying off the shelves as we have seen with NFT mints, it doesn't mean that like that's not the value proposition or the way that these things are going to work. Like other NFTs in a bull cycle that mint out are successful, but these here, I think, regardless of how many mint out, will be valuable in the long term. I just think that there's a lot to this ecosystem and there's so much scalability to it. That's why I'm excited about it, and I think that it's going to have a lot of synergies with Glacier. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man, me too. I like really cannot wait to get in the game and just start murking y'all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good community event because, like, how many community
You have
events?
yet to do that, Owen.
How many community?
No, I know. I'm like
dominated you.
I'm straight up the giving tree at this shit. I like getting game and all of these people are like trying for the first time and murking me. Yeah, I need to
Owen
figure
gets
out
in
my
and
shit.
gets wrecked every time. He talks all this mad shit like I'm king of the game, everything else, and then you go in there and you just beat
It's
him.
just my long
You
hustle,
just beat him.
TGH.
But just imagine that, like, for community event wise, like how much value that brings to us. Because, like, how many times have we tried community events, or how many communities do poker or whatever else? But, like, imagine that we can do like community events of like 1v1s where the top winner gets a certain amount of X Walrus, or we do faction wars and both communities put in a prize pool, and then the winner takes it and disperses it. So I just think that the amount of versatility and what you can do through this ecosystem is going to be really cool. And I think that people are going to actually enjoy the game.
I think we were the first to do a community night on Magic World, were we not?
Were we the first?
Remember that? It was it was like 2 or 3 months ago.
I believe you. No, it was longer than that.
Yeah. It was like
like
when Magic World
7
first
months ago.
started.
Holy fuck, yeah, that was ages ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We saw the potential.
Owen's been giving me pieces of it for quite some time. It's been really cool to see it develop. Yeah, and again, temporal ice, I completely understand that because I've seen the same thing happen, and that's why you should click World of Magic and just go in there. Just log in, walk around,
Try it.
Understand that it's a fully functioning game and the bare bones are there. And they're adding, what's the next patch, Owen? I love patches.
Well, we were hoping to get it out for tomorrow, but Kyle, he was trying to get the build out and it was throwing out a bunch of errors, so that's probably gonna have to get delayed a couple days. But it could be tomorrow, it could be Sunday or sometime next week. What we are going to do is get a trailer out over this weekend, so y'all can see all the stuff that's coming in the new. Why don't I see if I can share? I think I might have shared a video earlier, right? Of the fireballs and shit.
Yeah, you showed a video of the spell casting.
And it again.
Yeah. I could do the inventories if you want to see how those work.
Yeah, let's catch a peek of that. This will actually be my first time seeing this. So
Oh, here's the I'm sorry, here's the grape bottle, if you can see.
do you have a video of the frozen fish?
No, I don't. Kyle hasn't finished that animation yet. Sad to say.
It's okay.
Womp womp.
I'm not gonna hold it against you.
It's like the biggest part of the game, so it takes a little bit of time to like get it just perfect. Look
It's
at the
true.
spells though.
Fuck. I'm looking for. Oh, here we go.
Ooh,
So this, just so you can see how the item selection stuff works. So you will go into your inventory. The first time you go in, it'll do a little like scanning blockchain for your assets, and then after that happens, it'll just be smooth from then on.
That's pretty awesome.
you guys have no idea. Like it's fun as shit. Like there's range, there's melee, there's spells coming. This he sent the animation for the spells. It is a fun fucking game.
Oh, and Crypto Gamer, like I'm totally with you on all the graphics and vibe stuff. It's just like, yeah, like Diablo had like millions of dollars to make that game. Like I would like to get there, but we're just not there yet.
Yeah, so obviously they're using some like it doesn't mean that this is what it will look like in the future. I'm assuming that there's going to be implementations of graphical overhauls. They went with what they had.
Our goal is basically to build out a minimum viable concept. We want, several thousand users playing on a daily basis with rich prize pools of like, 5 figures for tournaments and stuff like that. We think that would be a really good proof of concept. If we get that system working, that's really easy to take and shop around. And then we can raise funds and like really build out a development team to, then you already have something. You say this thing already works in a sort of primitive state. Let's like do this for real. And that's a much easier conversation to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think you could probably do it earlier than that, but it's good that that's what you're looking for. And like you said, there's going to be some really cool things that potentially.
Well, you know a guy.
Yeah, I wish I did. Sadly, I think you might know more people than me. But it's awesome. I think it's going to be a really cool product. I think that it's already a really cool product, and I think that you all from Frozen Walrus, we're a tight knit community, and I don't let a lot of people in. And obviously, I have a pretty good relationship with Owen. That's why I'm speaking so highly of it, because I trust his team and I've seen what they've done. So,
well, you've met Avery and trust him. I don't trust him.
Yeah,
I will. I'll play his game. I'll play that game.
I do know Jimmy. Jimmy's an amazing guy.
I trust Jimmy. That Avery guy, he's a little squirrely.
He's just perennially like cynical and Debbie Downer. Like any sort of like optimism or hope you have, he'll find a way to shit on. And that's why he's nice to have around, because like I'm the dude who's like, oh, this is so exciting, let's do this thing, and he's like, here are all the reasons it won't work.
Isn't it?
That's my life.
He like unironically says "in it." It kills me.
Well, boys and girls, get excited about the mint. Dylan can post up an event here shortly, and we'll announce it tomorrow with the DApp link. Remember 50 USDC.E. You are getting a special in-game NFT item that is local to Frozen Walrus. If you see success in this game or you see something you like, join the Magic Discord, which I'm sure we can link here, and get involved, because I think we're at the early stages of something very successful. And you guys know I don't really do that. I don't really say that about almost anything. So just make sure you pay attention to that. I don't get excited over a lot of things. So thank you, Owen, for coming up and speaking about it to the community. And if you're listening and it's past that time, you're probably still minting, so go ahead and check it out. And I think that's it. I think that's it for today. Owen, did you have any final words before we send you off?
Nah, it's it for now. I appreciate you guys for listening. Y'all are the best. It's going to be a really exciting season. And, for those of you who want to learn more, I'll do my best to be over here more often. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump over in the Magic Discord or shoot me or Avery or anyone over there at DM. Yeah.
Perfect,
See y'all
man.
soon.
See ya, Owen. All right, guys. There's the links. Be sure to get involved. I'm gonna mint some because I really want I want some faction NFTs to go well for Frozen Walrus. Even if we only get like 50 to 100, I'm still excited about that. It means that we can potentially fuck some people up in faction NFT wars. So it's really cool. But yeah, that's it, guys. Let's end it here by saying be positive and do something with your life. And if you're stuck somewhere and you're unhappy, I feel for you, and I hope that you can make the change to be a better person and try and do something that you want. Life is extremely short, so don't spend it on doing something you hate. I was able to bring my brother into this, and we both love what we do. And trust me, a year ago we both hated what we did, and now we're here.
Hate.
And
Unadulterated hate.
And I don't have anything inside my body different than you all do. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude that has passion and can speak to people in a way that people listen. So, it wouldn't be possible if you all didn't take to that. And so I do appreciate that to a very, very genuine level. If anybody needs anything, reach out on a personal level, especially with the holidays coming up. If you're not able to see your family or anything else and you need a little pick me up, shoot me a call and I'll try and find some time to be available. And just know that I really do genuinely appreciate each and every one of you all for listening. And if you want to choose to do something positive over Christmas and you have some extra funds, donate to a somewhere that's going to feed some children or some people that need it. There's so many people here that don't get to eat. Our country's amazing in certain aspects, but terrible in others. There's 55 million. There's 55,000 Americans every year that die because they don't have access to health care. People have it way worse than what we do here in this Discord. So try and take yourself out of the bubble. And if you're having a shitty day, put some perspective on yourself and try and pick yourself back up and do better. If you have a chance and you're walking to a supermarket and you see an old lady crossing the street, make sure that you take her by that hand after asking her, of course, and walk her across the street. It's essential.
Keep a salt shaker in your pocket.
It's essential that chivalry doesn't die with our generation. I have a strong belief in that, and that men have certain roles and women have other roles, and I think that it's just it's about being positive and being a good person. So, do with it what you will. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and honestly, the holidays are coming up. So
Merry fucking Christmas.
Yeah, the holidays are coming up. When is the next Tusk Talk? It's next Friday, which is actually
next Friday.
Oh, that'll be the weekend before New Year's.
New Year's. Does that interfere with your family plans?
No, I should be good to go on Friday, so we should have another one.
Okay.
And then
you going to make it?
And 2 Tusk Talks. We're going to be in 2023. Yeah, go ahead and make it.
Wow, I'll make it. All right.
We'll be on Tusk Talk 36 by then for the new year. That is crazy. That's so many Tusk Talks.
35 Tusk Talks this year.
So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy your time with the family. Sorry I haven't been around as much. I am working. I'm just not as active in Discord because I'm doing my fucking job. It's what you guys support me for. So, and I'm also taking some time off with the kid. So thank you guys for still being here, being active, being supportive, and I say it every fucking time because I truly do believe it.
You guys have no idea.
Yeah, I was really blessed for some reason by people that really took to what I was saying, and I don't take it for granted. Just know that I know my responsibility, and I always try and do the best for you all. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Turn Walter back on.
I was gonna say, let's turn Walter back up. It's Christmas synthwave.
Oh,
I don't know how it's Christmas. I don't know how, but
it's Christmas.
It said it was
only name.
It said it was Christmas synthwave, so that's what I went with. I don't know why. I've not heard the first Christmas carol or Christmas song. We love all you guys. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, boys and girls.